guys, it's Miyagi Joe. I wanted to give you guys a really great, awesome review. So, I'm on my break. I just finished eating some nice lunch. It was very good. And last night, I couldn't stop thinking about a little show that we've all been talking about pretty recently, but not as much as we probably should be talking about. And that is The Rings of Power. Now, some people have been saying that The Rings of Power and Andor are just slow shows, and that I'm sick of this trope. I'm sick of this criticism. I'm sick of hearing it's slow. I'm sick of all this nonsense. It's time to get down to business. Slow does not mean a show is bad. There is always build-up, and there is always something leading towards a bigger force. So it's always something. It can be anything from this point onwards. And so when we talk about this show, The Rings of Power has a super crazy budget. Amazon put so much money into this show, and this episode delivers. Out of all the episodes we've had in the show, I love this show so much. I thought this show is absolutely amazing. It's just fantastic. And this episode proved that even more. We are in the third to last episode of the season, and this episode delivered. The build-up was great. We had so many other things. We still don't know what's going on with Elrond, but let's focus on the bigs. We had a war. People died. People were injured. It was brutal. Kits were thrown by elves. It was freaking sweet. This episode had by far the best hand-to-hand combat of any show or movie in Middle-earth thus far. It was super cool to see some great hand-to-hand combat. I loved seeing. I hope we get to see more in these final two episodes. Galadriel. This episode had vibes of both the... It reminded me of the Two Towers, Battle for Rohan. It had so many great vibes. Heroes coming in on horses and doing things. We had our king. So Helbrand led as our king was great. The tensions rising between all the characters. Questions about Sauron are being asked. And then this episode gets to the end, and you have this moment where Galadriel's looking out at the center, because the whole plan of fighting these bad guys, there's a twist where at first the first wave of bad guys were just decoyed, and they were using people to kill them. And then the real war started, and it got intense and crazy. It almost seemed hopeless. And then by the end, we had the villains in custody. Everything is going great. We have a new king for the Southlands. Everything is looking very bright and amazing. And then, Middle-earth can never be bright and amazing for too long, so we get to the point where all of a sudden they get the dagger that becomes the key, and the key turns, and it unleashes all sorts of lava and havoc throughout Middle-earth, and Mount Doom has officially led to the Firelands, and Mordor is born. We now have Mordor completely in full swing, and this leads us to some great things coming forward into the Lord of the Rings franchise. So I can't wait to see how this pays off in these final two episodes. I love that Mordor has happened. I love the way they did this. I thought it was genius. I'm going to give Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power Episode 6 an 8.5 out of 10. My favorite episode of the season so far. Very good. Loved it. Let me know what you guys' thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.